Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for joining today. Seek the blessings of Radha, Shyam Sundar, Radha Madhav, Krishna Balaram, Gonita, Srila Gopal Bhatt, and the assembled Vaishnavas, and Surya Dev, of course, because it's nice and warm in this country, as opposed to Mauritius, where it's nice and cold. This climate change is quite interesting. So anyway, we're having the sun in the UK for at least 2 or 3 days more. So we wanted to talk about this wonderful, amazing personality called Gopal Bhatt Goswami. It's his disappearance day today. And who is he exactly? So we have the 6 Goswami, Sanatan Rupa, Raghunath Das, Gopal Bhatt, Raghunath Bhatt, and Jiva Goswami. So these are great personalities who were associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They received much instructions from Chaitanya. No, not all of them. Jiva Goswami didn't actually meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but through their uncle, his uncles, Rupa and Sanatan, he also effectively associated with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they gave us incredible amount of nectar, both in through their examples and through writings. So let's see what Gopal Bhatt Goswami's life was like. Over 500 years ago, Krishna appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who traveled all over Bharat, preaching the holy names of Krishna. He arrived actually in South Bharat. After he took sannyas in Katwa, he went to Jagannath Puri because his mother requested him. He wanted to go to Vrindavan, but Vrindavan is very far away from Mayapur or Navadvip. So his mother said to him, please stay in Jagannath Puri. At least then we can come and visit you at least once a year. And he agreed. He was a sannyasi. He didn't need to. He's a supreme personality of Godhead. He didn't need to agree to anything, but he did. So after some time, he desired to go to the south. He wanted to meet his wonderful associate. He wanted to spread the holy names of the Lord all over. So he arrived in South Bharat in 1511. Now he went to Jagannath Puri in 1524, when he was 24, when he took sannyas, after he took sannyas, 24, 25. So he spent quite a number of years in Jagannath Puri. And then 1511, he went to South Bharat at the beginning of the rainy season. He visited the Ranganath temple in Sri Rangam. This is a very famous temple. And the head priest there was Venkat Bhatt Goswami. He invited Mahaprabhu to stay with him for the 4 months of the rainy season. So we started the Chaturmasya period where in Bharat it rains. And the other day somebody said to us that in Vrindavan it rained so heavily a couple of days ago. It drenched, it caused a lot of floods. So this is a time of rainy season. The reason for the Lord going there to South Bharat was actually he was looking for his pure devotee. So the Lord agreed to stay at the ashram of Venkat Bhatt. His son was only a 5-year-old boy, Gopal Bhatt. Maybe he was 8 actually, 8-year-old. So he was born in 1503. And he would serve Mahaprabhu every day. This boy was such an amazing child. And he would understand and dive into the depths of Mahaprabhu's teachings on Radha and Krishna Prem. Venkat Bhatt worshipped Lakshmi Narayan because the Ranganath temple, their Ishtadeva or their main deity is Lord Vishnu or Narayan, Lord Narayan, who is the same, 4-handed, glorious worship. and worship together with Lakshmi Devi. So Venkat Bhatt, he was a devotee of Lakshmi Narayan, hardly any surprise. And he saw no difference between Narayan and Krishna, because they're both Vishnu Tattva, they're both supreme. So he saw no difference between the two. Then Mahaprabhu explained the philosophy of Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti is where you have spontaneous love for the Lord, as opposed to regulated love, regulated worship of the Lord. This is Raganuga Bhakti is in the place of spontaneous love. You is not merely regulated in the sense that it's not that you have to do the worship according to certain time. Raganuga Bhakti is very much where you associate with the Lord on a very personal basis. The Vaidhi Bhakti is a little bit more strict in terms of your time. So almost the personal relationship is somewhat reduced because you're doing it according to rules and regulations. Anyway, Mahaprabhu explained to him about Raganuga Bhakti. And he also explained that Narayan, or Vishnu, the opulent form of Krishna, has only 60 characteristics compared to Krishna, who has 64 characteristics. So this is where we've done that table, where Brahma has 50, and Lord Shiva has 55. Beyond Lord Shiva is Vishnu, who has 60 characteristics or opulences. And then Krishna has 64, which is 4 more than even Vishnu or Narayan. And Narayan himself meditates upon Krishna with the wish to enter the rasa dance. Goddess Lakshmi also meditates on Krishna with the desire to enter the rasa dance. So Mahaprabhu was testing Venkat Bhatt. In Vrindavan, Krishna plays the game of love with the residents of Vrindavan. Now, the son of Venkat Bhatt, Gopal Bhatt, had already realized that Mahaprabhu was none other than Krishna, even before his father had. He was only 8, but he was a very intelligent boy. Mahaprabhu revealed himself as Krishna to Venkat Bhatt. Mahaprabhu told Venkat Bhatt that Gopal Bhatt is not an ordinary human. He's an incarnation of a gopi named Guna Manjari. Kavi Kannapur says actually Ananga Manjari, who is actually the sister of Radharani, and a personal associate of Radha and Krishna. Mahaprabhu invited Gopal Bhatt and instructed him to go in due course of time and live in Vrindavan. So just going back a little bit to this point, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to him, or actually he asked him a question to Venkat Bhatt, why does Lakshmi meditate on Krishna? Lakshmi is always Narayan. So Venkat Bhatt said, well, it's natural because both are the same, right? Narayan and Krishna, there's no difference. Okay, Mahaprabhu said, in that case, why is it that when Lakshmi ji wanted to enter into the Ras Leela, she was not allowed? Oh, that stumped Venkat Bhatt. He couldn't think of an answer. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the position of Krishna. That even in the when he has pastimes with the gopis, because those pastimes are based on Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous love, static love, which Lakshmi ji may not possess, does not possess, because her mood of worship is very much regulated because of worship of Lord Narayan, or her association with Lord Narayan. So because of her mood, which wasn't in the right bhav, she couldn't enter the Ras Leela. And even till today, she does meditation in Braj area in order to get the mercy of Krishna, even till today. So then slowly, Venkat Bhatt began to realize the position of Krishna in comparison to Narayan. They are one and the same in one sense, but there is a difference in the method of worship, in the bhav of worship, and also the original status, which is that Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom others have incarnated, including Balaram, including Sankarshan, including Narayan, including Vishnu. So anyway, he was given the instruction. This is Gopal Bhatt Goswami. Or at that time, of course, he was a little boy, 8-year-old, to preach the philosophy of devotion with Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and rediscover the sacred places where Radha and Krishna performed their pastimes. And Gopal Bhatt, he was a very responsible boy after his parents passed away, Venkat Bhatt and his wife. Then, with their blessings, he left for Vrindavan. He literally ran to Vrindavan, crying, dancing, chanting, and fully focused on Radha and Krishna in the holy land of Vrindavan. Sometimes he became unconscious for hours while meditating, and his journey was made more difficult by some of these challenges. One day, Gopal Bhatt met a Brahmin boy who helped him travel. He guided him on the right route and cooked and cared for Gopal Bhatt. Because Gopal Bhatt, he was all over the place. He was in ecstasy. Wasn't thinking straight sometimes because of his deep devotion to Radha and Krishna. And of course, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had given him direct instructions. And he had associated with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 4 months. That is a really amazing blessing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on Gopal Bhatt. He spent his time living in Vrindavan, doing kirtans, giving kathas, and writing. Although he didn't do too much writing, right?
A little bit, not much, but basically his writing was sorting out what Jiva Goswami had written. So he was just organizing the writing of Jiva Goswami.
He chose to live at a place where Radharani experienced separation from Krishna, where he disappeared from the Ras Leela one time. Mahaprabhu departed from this world, and in separation from Mahaprabhu, Gopal Bhatt, Rupa Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami fainted. They saw a vision of Mahaprabhu where he told Rupa and Sanatana to worship Govind Dev Ji and Madan Mohan. And Madhu Pandit, another devotee, was worshipping Gopinath. Now these three are the principal deities in Vrindavan, the original Goswami's deities, Govindji, Madan Mohan, Gopinath. Mahaprabhu told Gopal Bhatt to preach and go to the Gandaki river, where he will find Shaligram Silas. I think this came to him in a dream, because Mahaprabhu, Gopal Bhatt was very much missing the association of Mahaprabhu. So he came to him in a dream and he told him, go to the Gandaki river, you will find 12 Shilas, and one of them will be a Damodar Shila. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, he will live in that Shila personally. Gopal Bhatt Goswami traveled to Gandaki river, as per Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions. En route, he met Gopinath, a young boy who Gopal Bhatt initiates, realizing he's a pure devotee. At Gandaki river, Gopal Bhatt Goswami finds the Damodar Shila that Mahaprabhu had mentioned, along with the other 11 Shilas. So there was 12 Shilas in total. So this fascinating place, the Gandaki river, it's in Nepal. Vishnu becomes the Anupuna Mountain, and stones from this mountain fall into the Gandaki at Muktinath. These stones are directly Vishnu, known as Shaligram Shila. Markings are made by worms over time, and the Shilas are identified accordingly. So this is an idea of Nepal. And here is the mountain, Anupuna. And the Gandaki River is just there. So the mountain, the river flows in the valleys through the mountain. We personally haven't been there, but maybe one day, if the Lord allows us to travel there, it would be nice. This is the Anupuna Mountain. And this is an example of Shaligram. We were very fortunate to be gifted this glorious personality about 7 years ago, right?
Mm.
And there is Shyam Sundar on the right-hand side as you're looking. And then we have Balaram on the left-hand side. So this is Shaligram, and this is Dwarka Shila. There's lots of chakras, so that they identifies him. We identify him through the chakras. And he is identified through these markings here, which are made by worms over time. Anyway. So Gopal Bhatt Goswami, he returned to Vrindavan. He began to worship the Shilas. There is. But actually, at some point, he decided he wasn't qualified to worship the Shilas. So he returned back to Gandaki River and he put the Shilas back into the Gandaki River. But they jumped out and back into his lap again.
Yeah, so whenever he used to go into bathe in there, they used to come into his cloth piece. And that happened 4 times. So that, because he kept on putting them back, and they kept on, every time he went in again, it'd be in his cloth again. He did that 4 times, and then he realized that maybe this is a sign that he needs to keep them.
Anyway, he returned back to Vrindavan, started worshipping the Shilas. Now remember, the other Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, he was serving Govindji, magnificent form of the Lord. Sanatana Goswami was worshipping Madan Mohan, and Madhu Pandit was worshipping Gopinath. And Gopal Bhatt Goswami used to go and help dress the deities and adore the face of Govindji, the chest of Gopinath, and the feet of Madan Mohan. So he had this incredible desire that came within him to worship his own deity with all these features in one form. Because the face of Govindji was just like Krishna's. The chest of Gopinath was just like Krishna's, and the feet of Madan was just like Krishna's.
And he used to get lots of presents for the Shilas, lots of outfits and ornaments, and he was wondering, why am I getting these? I can't use them really. Yeah. So
one day on Nrsimha Jayanti, Nrsimha Chaturdasi, he prayed to the Lord because his desire just was so incredible, so heavy desire, increased his desire so much to worship the deity. He began crying that you appeared from a pillar in the form of Nrsimhadev for Prahlad Maharaj and his love. But for Gopal Bhatt, my desires have remained unfulfilled. I don't have a deity that I'd like to worship you with my full bhav, in your full form, so I can dress you and adore you as I like. Then he fell asleep crying with that desire. But he had a dream actually, that his desires would be soon fulfilled. And in fact, so this is an idea of Govindji. He used to go and dress his lotus face, lotus feet, beautifully adore him. This is Gopinath. He used to decorate the chest of the Lord, Gopinath. And then Madan Mohan used to worship his lotus feet. So what happened? The next morning, Gopal Bhatt, he woke up and he found only 11 of his 12 Shilas when he went to do his morning puja. He realized this is the Damodar Shila had suddenly taken the beautiful form of Lord Krishna. And this deity had a face like Govindji, a broad chest like Gopinath, and soft lotus feet like Madan Mohanji. This is really incredible. The deity manifested from the love of Gopal Bhatt Goswami. So the place where Gopal Bhatt Goswami chose for his bhajan was a spot where Krishna had disappeared from the Ras Leela, and Radharani had experienced deep pangs of separation. This is the exact place where the deity self-manifested from the Damodar Shila, where he appeared. And therefore, the Goswamis named the deity Radha Raman. And Gopal Bhatt was very pleased. Appeared out of Gopal Bhatt's deep love and desire. Lord Chaitanya too wanted to remain in manifest form after his departure from the world. He had explained that he would remain present in the Damodar Shila. So devotees take darshan of Krishna and Gaura in one form in Radha Ramanji. So this is the magnificent form of Radha. And if you just imagine, this is a Shila, which is supposed to be round, but he's manifested himself, these lotus feet, glorious, broad chest, and gorgeous face. This is truly one of the most amazing things. Many of the original deities of the Goswamis are no longer in Vrindavan, but this deity is still there. You can have darshan of this wonderful deity. And this is an idea of Radha Ramanji, truly bound by love. When Radha Ramanji manifested for the Damodar Shila, the original marking of the Shila appears under his waist. So if you see here carefully, you see the markings of the rope appearing, same place where he would have been bound by the rope in Damodar Leela. So it's really extraordinary. This is why it's called the Damodar Shila. Originally, it was called the Damodar Shila. It's the rope that Mother Yashoda tried around him, the marking is there. So Radha Ramanji is actually also considered Radha and Krishna combined. So the temple, however, worships the holy name of Radha next to Radha Raman deity. Gopal Bhatt Goswami asked the brother of his first disciple, Gopinath, so his name was Damodar, to get married and continue the lineage of the Goswamis who worship at the temple. Damodar was initiated by Gopal Bhatt Goswami and given the name Damodar Das Goswami. So then from that day, generation after generation, the Goswamis in this temple take up the service of Radha Damodar. There's so many now, so many families. And I think they get a turn every 2 or 3 years, right? To do their service. So it's a truly extraordinary heritage. And we're very fortunate to be able to remember these incredible pastimes of the Lord. Gopal Bhatt Goswami ki jai. So, any questions, any comments? Okay, Gopal Bhatt ki jai.